one thing to start off. The only thing I've seen from this podcast is you guys debating where the best riding is in the world. And Cole's going to have to take an L on this one, but Sonoma County is going to win every time. So I've rode in Malibu. I've done Lux camps down there. I've been down there a lot. It's nice for a week. I enjoy 4 or 5 days down there. Good riding. I'm not saying it's bad, but Sonoma County is going to win every time. That's the only thing I have to say. The rest of you guys can ask questions, whatever, but that one's going to have to be settled.
Cole has never even been to Sonoma County. So it's like,
I need
shut
to back
up, dude.
myself up here. Dude, bro, there's no way
Dude,
that
you've
it's
never
better.
been there,
Why
so
do you think it's
don't
better?
even talk about it. I've ridden my bike all over the world.
I've rode in Malibu. I'm not saying Malibu is bad. I'm not saying it's bad at all. You have to me, it's nice. You do a combination of climbs and you have good loops. But then after a week of riding there, you just do the same thing, but a different combination of climbs. Do you go Latigo first or do you Latigo last? Or do you just go this direction or that direction? In Sonoma County, you can go down to Marin. You can go out to the coast. You can go inland towards Napa. We have everything. You can go towards geysers. Every direction you ride from Santa Rosa is good and something different. It's completely different every direction.
What about the 5 months out of the year that I've heard where the weather is horrible? It's always misty, a bit rainy, cold.
I mean, to quote you, Cole, you're a little baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a baby.
No,
I
dude,
don't want to handle it.
No, I think the weather, you get a few days, a little bit more fog or whatever, but at the same time, it's still great weather. The whole winter, I didn't do one day on the trainer this winter, not one day. Not that I would ride the trainer anyway, but I didn't do one day on the trainer. And I was there November, December.
Sonoma County has 1,360 miles of road in the county. It's the most of any county in California. And during my career, I had a specific bike with fenders and disc brakes before disc brakes were a thing. And that was my rain bike. And it was it was easy. You just get out the door and you're fine. It's not cold.
Look at you, big time pro, having his own bike for the rainy days. Wow.
I think the thing that also makes Sonoma County good is you have all these small roads in between. You can connect all kinds of stuff in between on small roads, whereas there you have all the main climbs, not on main roads really, but they're all pretty busy. It's all the main roads, and then you have the coast, whatever. We have a bunch of small roads in between, and I mean the most roads in any county, but there's tons of small roads. If you do King Ridge, how many cars do you see on King Ridge? It doesn't go anywhere.
All right, well, I'm excited to test it out at the Growler. Luke, you're going to be there? We're going to go head-to-head, bro?
Well, head-to-head in the Growler. That's my first rodeo since, I don't know, when was the last time I did the Fondo? I would have done it in, I think when I was 15, maybe, the last time I did it. Maybe in 2018, 2019, something like that.
Yeah, but the best picture is when you were were you 8 when you first rode it?
Yeah, maybe 8 or 9, something like that.
Is that when you did the Grand Route with Michael Hosey?
Yeah.
So,
I would have
Luke was 8 years old.
I would have been 9,
crushing
I think,
the
when I did it with
100-mile
Hosey.
route.
How cool is that for you to be able to go back and do it now as a big-time pro?
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, it's obviously changed a lot from what it was. Now it's kind of a full-on race. Then a lot of people raced it, but it was more of a race to the top of King Ridge. Then everyone would kind of stop there and then enjoy the rest of the ride. But it was still a full-gas race for the first 2 hours, 2.5 hours to the top of King Ridge. But obviously when I did it then, it was more about just finishing it and doing it as a Fondo. But now to come back and race it, and obviously it's at home. So for me, it's super nice, to be able to do a road race on your training roads is something special already. And then to have it be something that I've done since I was 10 years old, I think is even cooler, a lot of local people. The fact it's also a ride that everybody can do, the amount of people that I'll know there from Sonoma County that ride bikes in Sonoma County that just do the ride to do the ride also. And then I'm also racing with them, but they also follow my racing throughout the year or whatever. To do it with them also is pretty cool, everybody just lines up together and you start is also kind of what's cool about it, because you do all these other races throughout the year and you come here to the classics, but it's not like everybody lines up with you. You don't line up with a few thousand other people that you also know from your hometown.
You know what? I feel sorry for the guys trying to follow you on those descents, Luke.
That's the one thing that's a bit, honestly, I don't think, I normally descend fast in races, whatever, but that's the one thing I think I will be careful is I think people underrate, yes, I know them, but especially not knowing the descents there, it's actually, you have to be careful. Our descents, you can go fast, but you still have to be careful, and it is still open road. So it's one of those things that obviously you're not going to absolutely send it down them, for sure it'll probably feel fast because I know them also, going down geysers, whatever. I've done it however many times, but at the same time, it's not like a race where it is fully closed and whatever. But luckily now everybody has maps on their Wahoo or whatever they run and can see the corners.
We're working with CHP right now and all of our moto marshals, and I've selected a few key sections, key descents where they need to really control the roads as much as they can. So we're trying to make this as safe as possible. That's the number one priority.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, it's up to the riders in the end to also make it safe, but it's one of those things where the Sonoma County descents are super fun. It makes you a good descender, I think, growing up there, but you still have to be careful,
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna push it too hard. Ian FaceTimed me yesterday and was telling me, "Oh, dude, this guy's descent is crazy. Like, you could end your life on this thing." And I'm like,
No, come on. It's not that. It's no worse than any descent. I've done 10 times worse roads in every race I do in Europe with a mountain stage. Obviously, I mean, any descent. You go too fast on any descent, you can have a problem. If you're careful, it's fine. It's not like it's that bad. Actually, it's a super fun descent, but you just have to be careful. But that's every descent, you have to be careful. The thing is, he's just thinking about it because he knows it training and then races it. But if you go down the back of L's full gas, it's also sketchy in Girona. Like it's not like no descent is really safe in the end to ride down full gas. Any descent full gas, no matter how fast it is going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
Has the Tour of California
so Coors
gone
Classic
Tour
of California has raced these roads. Yeah. It's got quite a bit of history there in Sonoma County.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, Luke, when the Tour of California came by your house, what roads did they do out there? I assume they probably did a bunch of the roads at the Growler.
The stage I remember was a stage, I don't remember what year. It was one of the later years of it, but they did like King Ridge and then
Coleman.
Up the coast, Coleman Valley back in, and a sprint in Santa Rosa, which was like crazy for me to think when I was a kid that was a sprint stage, or like that sprinters were there, like that sprinters were surviving that at the time. I was like, because to me, this was like a massive climbing day when I was 10 or whatever. I'd go ride that and I thought it was like crazy climbing day. And then now I look at it, I'm like, actually with the whole peloton, it's controlled. Like you have so far from Coleman and Occidental back into Santa Rosa, like actually it would be a sprint. And then you see Coleman, it's not that long of a climb, but I think Sagan won. It was where he like flatted. He flatted.
No, Sagan was solo for a while, and they caught him. It was a sprint of about 30 guys, and Alexander Kristoff beat him by just a little bit in the sprint.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But he was solo, and then
Sagan's your favorite rider now.
And then he came back. Yeah, I would say Sagan he was kind of when I really started following cycling, like watching like all the classics and these different races, he was kind of winning all of that stuff. And so I feel like he was super cool at the time. Obviously, he was a cool rider, whatever. So I think he would definitely be up there.
Yeah, even you guys are kind of like, you're the same type of rider, I would say.
Yeah, similar type of rider. I think his Palomars are a little bigger, but other than that,
I'm not making a comparison that way. I just think that your abilities are.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, similar. Yeah, no, very
strong,
very
fast.
Similar in that sense for sure.
Yeah, I would say they're pretty similar riders. What's your favorite Sagan moment? Like, if you look back at all the years watching Sagan race, favorite moment of his? I don't mind.
I don't know, actually. I was still thinking the other day, I saw a clip on Instagram. I think the best race that I've ever watched was Amstel when Van der Poel won. I still think that was the best race I've ever watched.
Well, until
as far as exciting, I think when he won, I saw a clip. Yeah, to be honest, I haven't watched back the final of San Remo from this year, and everybody's like, "Oh, you got to watch it back." I haven't actually watched San Remo from this year, so I didn't see it because I was in it. So I haven't actually watched it, but I need to go watch it. Everyone's like, "Oh, you need to watch it," but I haven't actually gone and watched it.
But I would agree, those two races, like that Amstel that Van der Poel won and this San Remo, those are amazing. Both of those.
Yeah, dude, Richmond Worlds when Sagan won. I find myself watching this like replay of the last 15 kilometers, 20 kilometers so often. Like at least once a year I'm watching this back. Sagan was just an electric bike racer, man. He was so cool. He could do anything. He was
I'll never forget. It was I believe it was 2010 Paris-Nice. Like towards the end, super hilly stage, like kind of hanging on for dear life. And there was this one guy solo. And the teams were chasing so hard to bring him back, like the last 40K. And it was so hard. The peloton would split and come back and split and come back. And I was just like dying. And I remember like this guy won alone. And we were like, who is this? He was 19 or something. They're like, Peter Sagan, who is that? Like, it was insane.
Yeah.
everybody was like, whoa.
Yeah, let's go back to Tour California. Luke, if there was like the last stage, if it was an Athens Twilight crit type of thing, like downtown San Francisco Twilight crit, hour and a half, 2 hours, you think that would be something that would be pretty cool? Would that make you want to come to the race?
I think anyway, I think if it was, I think if Tour of California happened, I think I'd be the first one to have my hand up. I think it was a race when I was a kid that I watched and always wanted to do, you know, like it's one of those races you always want to do a home race. And then it was World Tour when I was still a junior. The last years it happened when they went to World Tour, and I thought like, oh, that's a race I always want to do, and never got to do it. So I think it would be no matter, even I think if it was all mountaintop finishes, I think I'd still come back and do Tour of California. You know, if every day was a mountaintop, I think I'd still just go race it just to do it. So it doesn't even have to be a perfect course or crit or sprint stages, whatever. Like honestly, if it was mountaintops, I think I'd just go do California just to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. You never got the chance to do it with USAC or
No, they stopped.
It was already done by then, huh?
2019 was last year, I want to say.
Tade was the last winner.
And I would have still been, and I was still a first year junior then. So I never had the chance to do it. But the national team did do it that year, but I never did it. Never happened once I was under 23 or anything. Sadly.
Dude, I forget you're so young. You're like only a year older than me. You're like already so established in the world tour. It's crazy. Cause I feel like people like, I don't know, it's such a different perception now. If you're 22 and you're not getting results, like it's like, oh, fuck, you're probably not going to be a good pro. But like, you've established yourself over the last couple of years, and now you're finally finding your place. Obviously, with the Paris-Nice win, that was the biggest win in your career. Do you think that has changed now, like your perception in the peloton from other people? Like when you go to a big race that maybe suits you, like Kurna or something, you're going to be marked out as a favorite now?
I mean, I think to a certain level, to a certain degree of it, yes, you're a bit more known. As I've raced more and been more in the classics or whatever, but at the same time, you're still not going to be, you know, more also because I do the sprints, you're not going to be marked out like a Vanderpool as a guy who's like, they're not talking to other buses going, oh, he's going to attack here on the Kemmelberg or something and Wevelgem, you know, I'm still not really a rider that's going to, like, maybe I can make a small group from there, but I'm not going to be the guy animating the race on the Kemmelberg to try to make a selection of two guys like Vanderpool and Wout or something like that. So I think there's still plenty of big names ahead, but I do think for sure you get a bit more respect the more you race in the classics, and people know you can hold the wheel and going into crosswind sections or whatever. I think you just get less flick because people know that you're there and will be in the race, so they're not as worried to let you in. So they're not gonna flick you because you're a young guy and they're thinking, oh, maybe this guy's gonna lose the wheel in the crosswind or he's gonna lose the wheel on the Kemmelberg or whatever. So people let you go because they trust you more as they know you. But I think that also just comes with being in the peloton and knowing the other guys, and as everybody gets to know you, I think that happens a bit more. So I think, yes, as I get more established, but also being there longer and doing the races, and now I've had a few years of doing the classics, and so people learn how you ride and that they can trust you or whatever. And then that also makes it easier. I think the more established you get, the easier it is, you know, like obviously when you see it in sprints or in big run-ins or these guys that are really good at position, like in the end, they are really good at position. They have the legs to position, but also everybody wants to be on their wheels. So they let them go a bit and it makes it easier to position at the same time.
Yeah. You've proved yourself.
So I think, it goes hand in hand a bit, but
you raced motocross as a young guy, right? When you were younger?
I did, yeah. I grew up racing motocross. So my dad was always into motocross. Me and my brother started riding dirt bikes before we ever rode bicycles or anything when we were like 4 years old, and then raced motocross when we were kids until still when we were racing bicycles until we were like 11 or 12 on 85s, and then kind of switched to bicycles and did a bit less motocross stuff. And from there kind of just full-time on bicycles or racing more around the US on bicycles and transition. So
do you think those skills like transitioned over, like when you're positioning or maybe your skills off-road, do you think those skills carried over at all?
I think they do. I think it does translate, but only so much. Like if you see, I don't know, there's like, it translates from motocross, but not really. Like you ride with motocross guys and they can descend well, but it's still a different way. Like moving in the peloton is still different. Honestly, I do believe it was part of it, and that's where I had maybe my confidence from when I was young on two wheels, but I still think I learned like positioning and all of that. Honestly, just doing like Cat 3 races and whatever in California. Like I feel like I raced so many crits and road races and all these local races that's actually what taught me how to race. And I was super, super small when I was a kid. Believe it or not, even though now I'm bigger, that I feel like I just learned because I had no power. Like when I started racing these Cat 4 races, Cat 3 races, like I was by far the weakest guy, tiny guy. And then you'd race with all these big dudes who were Cat 3s. And so I think I just figured out how to weasel my way around and just follow guys and not push the wind. Because if I touched the wind, I'd get dropped. So I think I just learned how to position and do it with no power. And that kind of taught me how to race more than anything. But for sure, a bit of it translates, like maybe even a bit more on a mountain bike or whatever. But I think some of it, some of it does carry over, but not as much as people maybe
Do you
think.
think for you, like when you're battling to come
Yeah.
into Cipressa or the Kemmelberg or the Quarmont and in these classics, is that would you say that's easy for you, or is it still quite a fight for you? Because you seem to be really good at positioning and like you said, I mean, I've watched you.
I mean, they're stressful. Yeah, they're stressful moments. No matter what, I think everybody's stressed. Like they're dangerous, they're stressful. It's a big fight, but I do think that like in these moments where I really need to be in position, I would say that's almost what I still struggle with the least. Like normally coming into a Cipressa or something where like some guys that's their biggest moment. Like if they're not there in position, they lose the race. Like for me, I never really worry about that. I always know I can kind of be there in position. For me, it's still the legs. Like this year, I got dropped in San Remo, and like that was more the issue for me. Like I came into Cipressa a good position and just didn't have the legs in the end. So I think most of these big moments when I know I need to be in position, I can be there. And it does kind of work out, but I think that's also a momentum thing, like when you're always getting the positioning right and you think you can always be there, you think you belong there and you deserve to be there. So then you kind of are just there. But I think that's just a rider to rider thing. Like I've always enjoyed that part of it, kind of like the positioning and being there. And I think that just comes from the same thing as like it almost translates a bit now to how I was super young then and didn't have the power. And now it's almost the same, like I know when Pogacar attacks, I can't follow him. So you try to be there ahead of him or be in position and do as little as possible to save the legs as much as possible. So I think that's a lot of it as well, as it kind of is the same thing but different. I still don't have the legs of the strongest guys, so it's being smart also.
So it's one of your strengths, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. I would say that's where I thrive the most is positioning and being there. And in the end, honestly, a lot of when I sprint is a bit the same, like I think I've become more of a sprinter in the sense of positioning. And when I have a good sprint, it's mostly positioning rather than always legs or pure power. Like I've never had massive power like a pure sprinter, but I can get involved kind of off of position and having the legs or going in the right moment or trying to get it right.
Yeah. When you were younger, before you got on Lux, what had gotten you noticed by Roy to put you on that team?
I was on a Team Swift, a local team out of Santa Rosa, and then I raced kind of all over the U.S. with them as a 15, 16. So I did like Valley of the Sun and all of those races that you would do as a 15, 16, all the big junior races in the U.S. And actually, my older brother Gianni was already on the team. So the year before I was on Lux, he was on the team, and then basically I was back and forth between going there and Hot Tubes and went to Lux because Gianni was already there and I knew a lot of guys on the team and they were out of SoCal, so it was also a little bit easier for me. And yeah, did my last 2 years junior on Lux, just because they had a bigger travel program and a bit more support, and it was tied into the national team. And then in the end, I actually didn't do that many races with Lux because my first year I pretty much only raced with the national team, and then my second year we didn't race at all because of COVID. So yeah, I didn't actually do a whole lot with Lux actually throughout my 2 years, like Valley of the Sun and Georgia, Southern Highlands race, and that was pretty much about it. Nationals, and everything else I kind of did with the national team in 2019. So I didn't do a ton with them, but they were a great program and a lot of support.
Yep, I also went there. Good program. I think Roy's now trying to make a new junior team, like the Lux 2.0.
I heard this.
I
I actually heard this last week that he's like starting up a junior team or something, and a guy in Mallorca, or I don't know. I heard a few different things, but I don't really know the truth. Actually, I was gonna send him a text and see how he's doing and see.
Yeah,
But
I haven't heard. Yeah, I think it'll be cool. I mean, I think obviously more big pipelines over to Europe for the juniors, and America's better, right? I mean, right now it seems like Hot Tubes and maybe EF are the only two teams that are doing it. National team a little bit, of course, but I think the scene in America is dying a little
I
bit.
think all of it in a sense, like
And
there's just
with a new
there's
team,
less racing. Like how many local NorCal races we had when I was growing up compared to what we have now, and the turnout was I think it's a big difference. Like I haven't been to them in a long time, but there used to be so many that you could do when you were a junior, you know, like there were still 80 or 100 guys in a Cat 3 race or Cat 2 race, Cat 1, 2, 3 or whatever. At least you had a lot of guys to race against. I'm not saying the level was crazy high or whatever, but I think as a junior, I went and did those, and at least you still race with 80 guys, which is completely different than now. If you show up and there's 20, it's hard to learn how to race with 20 guys if you start in a group of 20. But if you start a crit or a road race with 80, 100 guys, it's a big difference, you know? So I think also just the volume of people doing the races is different.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in right
for
now
the juniors
and say
now
that,
and like the local kids.
that juniors race for free at the Grand Fondo. So we have two routes. We have a Geysers and the Medio, and it's free for the juniors to race. And we're going to award the top 3 in every category. So if any juniors or
that's awesome.
parents are listening, please come race.
No.
No prize money.
Prize
for
money
juniors.
for juniors as well?
No. You got to work hard for your money.
They'll get to be awarded by Luke afterwards. Like he can present them their trophy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah. No, that's awesome though. I think, the junior scene, I mean, obviously it's still around, but I don't think it's any easier than when we were juniors, you know, like it's not getting easier per se to come up. So I think things like that, like having them at the Fondo for free and different stuff like that is always cool, because that's the hard thing, you know, is getting the sport in them when they get to the top level. I think the best guys still will always make it. You just miss out on the depth in the end. Like the best guys will go to Europe and they can take 5 guys a year, and the best guys will probably still go to an under 23 team and turn pro if they have what it takes. But it's kind of that depth that you don't have. Like in the end, there's only so many guys they can't help. So you're going to have less and less depth over the years.
Yeah.
It's a huge commitment as well. Like Enzo Hincapi, for example, he's a first-year junior, and he's been living in Girona since the start of the year. Like, being a 17-year-old and living in Europe alone as an American seems crazy to me.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, I thought I was pretty young because my birthday's the end of the year, and I moved to Girona, got my place in Girona when I was 18 still. But I was a first year under 23, and already that was like young to pack up and move, you know. But in the end, okay, Girona's fairly easy to do it in compared to moving to this town where I'm at now in Belgium or something. But it's still a commitment, you know. Like you miss high school and normal life and all this stuff to try and be a pro.
Yeah, it's not an easy lifestyle.
Yeah, for sure.
No. You moved to Belgium, no?
Mm-hmm.
Levi?
Yeah.
Before you started?
I was like...
And you'd ride to and from the kermesses and all that? I've heard the stories.
Like, what was it, like $6 a day, living in a hostel, just no car. Yeah, riding my bike to the grocery store, riding my bike to the races.
That's what I mean. So, like, in the end, when you say, like, oh, these juniors are moving to Girona, like...
It's pretty easy.
I'm like, yeah, okay, they're moving young. But also, it's pretty, like, they have a nice apartment in Girona, and there's a lot of other English speakers there, nice coffee shops, whatever. And then, like, you hear the stories of these guys back in the day. You know, they'd move with, like, literally a backpack, a suitcase, and a bike and come race kermesses, and nobody speaks the language, and they don't have any guidance, and you have no idea what to do. It's not like you can talk to other people, really, or whatever. You know, like, you go and do your inscription for a kermesse in a bar and start and ride back home after and shit like that, you know, like that I feel like is actually hard. But now you go to Girona and their flights are booked for them and taxis are booked from Girona to the airport and all of that, you know, like it's not that bad in the end.
And even Girona for me, like I couldn't buy an inner tube in that town when I lived there. Now you guys have like these fancy bike shops and coffee shops, and I hear like hundreds of cyclists live there.
Yeah, there would be. Yeah. There's got to be between tourists and cyclists, just like cyclists in general. The whole town now, I guess, is basically built around cycling. But it is a lot easier, and you have the resources now. Like, there's so many other guys, you know, like I've been there now 5 years or whatever, but you have guys who have been there even longer who you can reach out to that will help you, you know, if you can't figure it out. And all the people there also expect it now, so they know what to do and how to help guys who don't speak the language or Americans, whatever, whether it's find apartments and all that stuff. So in the end, it's a pretty smooth process now, I would say.
Yeah, there's a big community Facebook group called Drone and Living, and there's like 4,000 people in there. So whenever you need to sell something or get something or need help, you join that or
Man, it's a
message in there, and you can
different
get whatever you
place,
need. Pretty
man.
much,
By
it's
the way,
nice.
you're
It's handy.
welcome.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody had to pave the way.
Somebody had to do the hard yards,
yeah.
huh? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so when you went to U23, you joined Trinity.
Yeah, so I did. I was junior with Lux, and then I went straight to Trinity, which was a mountain bike team. Well, actually, like a cyclocross road mountain bike team that kind of started for Pidcock and then became more of a road team and road continental team. And I joined that in 21, kind of in a connection with Specialized, and also my agent was the manager of the team, and so I went there and did 3 years there, which was also super important. I think like doing the years under 23 for me, not making a step straight to being pro and going to a team like Rally or something like that when I was young was a good move, and doing these smaller races and kind of having that middle ground of like we did some pro races in Belgium, but nothing big. And then a lot of the smaller races was good. Like I saw a chance to fight for wins. Basically, I didn't do 3 years getting my head kicked in to come to the same strength that I was when I turned pro. So I think did a few years there, and then from there I turned pro with Quick Step in 24, the beginning of 24.
Yeah. Your first year, did you do a mixed schedule or program of like some UCI mountain bike races and then also
I did a
road?
little bit my first year
Okay.
because there was still some COVID stuff, and actually we had Chris Blevins on the team then. And so I went to Austria and did like a few of these UCI HC mountain bike races, and kind of like I basically did a preseason like a mountain biker would do. So I spent like until March racing on the mountain bike before the World Cups, and then went and raced on the road after that because there wasn't too much going on. And so I just did like a preseason like a mountain biker and did like this US Cup in Fayetteville, and then went over to Europe, did all like the pre-World Cup races, got my head kicked in, and then went and raced on the road.
Yeah, dude. So your first year under 23, you did an absolutely savage ride, and you got 10th at Worlds, but then you got disqualified after. Why? Why'd you get disqualified?
Yeah, so basically there's I forget the name of that climb, not the Moskastrut, but there's a climb in they use it in like Brabantse Peel and Amstel, all these races outside of this Leuven circuit in like Overijs. We came to the top of this cobbled climb and we turned left, and it was crosswind. And actually Florian Vermeesch, who's been good this year again in the classics, was poling. And then there was a guy's second wheel was Arnaud Delis, third wheel was another guy, fourth wheel, and I was like fifth or sixth wheel maybe. And he swung out in the crosswind, and then because he was teammates with Florian Vermeesch, they were both Belgian. And he swung out, and then he like swung back in the line as I was closing the gap. But as he swung back in, basically I was in the line, and like we made contact when he swung back in, and he leaned on me, I leaned on him, and then he crashed. But like we basically both fully leaned to try not to crash, and he was the one that crashed out. And so then I got disqualified for it, and it was 70K to go, and it was a whole thing with the commissaires. And after the race, they were like, oh, if it was in the final, maybe it wouldn't have been a problem. And it was a whole mess around. Like they almost took it away like a week later. They contacted me again and were like, maybe we'll take it away. And then they just left it in the end. And yeah, it was kind of a bit of a mess because it was like they said I endangered him. He said it was a racing incident, but he was a Belgian favorite. And so it kind of became a whole messy situation. But yeah, I got disqualified that year from Worlds. But I think it's still, luckily, honestly, I was 10th. I think if I would have been like on the podium or top 5 or something, my first year Worlds under 23, I would have been like super, super upset. But in the end, I knew I was 10th, and like it didn't really change a lot because I was 10th. Like it's not like I stood on the podium and then they take it off, or like the year Niels Eickhoff won under 23 Worlds and they took it away from him. So I think it could be it could have been much worse. Yeah, in the end, I was happy I had a good ride.
It might have actually put some eyes on you in the sense like Patrick Lefebvre maybe was like, oh, who is this kid? Like it made him pay attention to you. You never know.
Honestly, possibly, yeah. Like it was in the Belgian media and it was in newspapers, whatever, because Arnaud Delis had a big name at the time. So it is possible that that people saw it and then saw the name. Like you never know. Anyway, it was motivation for me.
Oh, did you slammed out Arnaud?
Yeah, it was with Arnaud Delis. Yeah. But I've been racing.
How did you knock him down? He's like a tank.
I've been racing with him actually since we were like 15. I did this the only stage race Tour of West Flanders or something, the only 15-16 stage race in all of Europe. I did it with him. But yeah, he's a tank. But by that time, I was also pretty big. I feel like I was also built big, you know, like for a cyclist, I also have bigger arms, and I was also built not as big as him, but pretty big also.
Yeah,
That's a good story. Yeah.
that's a funny story.
Yeah, it is a good one. There's a lot of I feel like there's
We have some questions from fans. If you're down to answer some of
yeah,
those.
go for it. Hit me with them.
So fast forward 10 years. Would you rather have? You can only have one of these: rainbow jersey, Roubaix trophy, or green jersey in Paris.
Rainbow jersey. I feel like that's a pretty easy question, no? You ride the whole year as a world champ. You get to wear it for a whole year, you know? Like, it's nice to have the green jersey or something, but if you're world champ, you're world champ, you know? Like, you're riding it for a whole year. I feel like that's what I would prefer out of those three.
Those are all great options.
Yeah, I feel like
I mean, they're all great options.
Yeah,
if
they're
any of them
very
happen,
good.
I'll be happy. But if you had to choose between one, I think it's pretty easy. That, yeah, be pretty easy.
Sweet. Levi, would you rather be world champ, win Roubaix, or
I think there's
have the
only
green
one
jersey?
option that would be like even remotely possible for me,
Yeah,
myself.
for
And that would be world champion. There's no way I would win the.
Yeah. But how much more badass would that be if you won Roubaix?
I don't see
At your
any
pocket
scenario where I
size?
win Roubaix, dude.
Possible. I don't
Yeah,
know. I feel like
well,
Remco
yeah, I
could.
think he has
Maybe.
trouble
Probably not.
positioning. No, I mean maybe Luke, you could answer that question.
Oh, I don't think so. He's actually pretty good at position. I think when he really wants to be in position, he could be in position. I don't think he could win a Roubaix, but I do think that he will turn up to Flanders.
Yeah, I can see that.
He will turn up.
Ooh. You think he can follow Pogacar on those climbs?
No,
No, he can't follow Poggi on those climbs, but the thing, like, he can keep riding in between. Like, the thing is, when he can ride on the flats, he does so much power and he's so aero that I'm not saying he'll come back because Poggi also does, but he has a chance to close after. Like, I think he can go faster than Poggi on a flat road. Not that he would catch him in the run-in or something, but if he just keeps riding his own pace, he can ride a long time his own pace, and his own pace is fast. So I could see him going well. I don't see him winning.
Dude,
I don't see him winning, but
go ahead.
yeah,
but I think he's going to
he'll
turn
have
up this
people
year.
on
I
his
still think
wheel,
this year,
though.
next year, one of these years with Red Bull, I think he's gonna turn up.
Levi, did you not watch the Catalunya stage where it was like crosswind from the left and he was on the front and he just stuck it in the gutter and nobody could follow him except for Vingegaard?
Yeah, but that's different. Vanderpool and Wout and these guys are still going to follow him on Quaremont or whatever. That's different.
Yeah, but like if there's a little bit of crosswind and you're on this guy's wheel.
No, come on. Catalunya crosswinds. Let's be honest, Cole. Catalunya crosswinds and crosswinds in Belgium in these races. Like if you go to Wevelgem or whatever and you do crosswinds, it's a different story.
And yeah. Well, the difference is the peloton. Like you got Catalunya GC guys like Lenny Martinez and Perry Pontra. Like that's not like Flanders peloton where these guys are big and strong and they know what.
But the final starts too early anyway. The final starts so early. Where's he gonna? How do you even start earlier now?
Like he'd have to.
You can't start it any earlier. You know, like it starts so early anyway that there's really no way to start early. To be honest.
Yeah, was it Wout last year that tried to anticipate on like the key climb? And,
the Quaremont, yeah, he went before Quaremont, but I mean, he went 1K before it on this road section that drags up. Like there, you're not really anticipating. I think if you only have 5 seconds on Poggi going into it, and you already did the same effort, you know, like to anticipate. Actually, you have to. I don't know. Like now, I think better and better guys just go on the breakaway, but then they don't give the breakaway any time. So like, better guys start to go on the breakaway because they want to be in the final, but then everybody knows there's decent guys in the breakaway and they give them 2 minutes. And then imagine you do a 280K race and the breakaway only gets 2 minutes, you know, like they just don't get any time.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think the break is dead? What do you think about breakaways now? Because like I've been getting in the break in some of these races and I don't think you don't get more than a 2.5 minutes.
I mean, I don't think the break is dead. Also, if you see in E3, the guy from Decathlon who was in that group with Vermeesh and them, he came from the breakaway. So I think guys on a really good day and the ride races from the breakaway can make it super far, but it just depends on the race and the wind. There's so many scenarios, but I mean, I think to to win Flanders out of the breakaway. I don't think it's ever really been heard of. So I don't think races like that, the breakaway is a bit dead if you're trying to win. But if you're trying to make it far in the race, for sure you make it far in the race because you lose so many of these small efforts that you do for position and all of this stuff throughout the whole race. So you can make it far if you're on a good day. But it's not dead, but yeah, it was never really a thing for a race like Flanders. But I think in Roubaix, it's possible to make it to the final. You know, like Roubaix is a race where you get in the breakaway and you can make it super deep into the race.
You gotta let me, dude. If you're on the front and you're blocking and I'm on the right, and I say, Luke, let me through. You better let me through, bro.
Yeah, Cole. Hey, wait. But speaking, you brought up E3, Luke.
Yeah, but
can we talk about how badly those guys screwed up in the end? Like, I was like beside myself watching.
Yeah, but
that race. Like,
I think he just
they could have reached out and spit on him, and he stopped.
They thought,
too.
you know, when
like,
someone in front of you and you're closing
the
gap, and the guy in front of you stops pedaling, so you stop because you're fucked also, and then you think, I'm gonna close to him. He stopped, but then he just went full. So he stopped, they stopped, and they thought, when he stopped, they thought for sure they're gonna close to him, but then he just went full gas and it never closed. So I also think he did it a bit like.
I agree, but they still could have. They should.
The problem
know
is when you start
right?
to think
like,
about winning a race,
that's
I feel like you always think someone else is going to do it. You know, like, someone's going to make the effort. Someone will do it. Like, someone will jump and I'll jump, and who's going to close? You know, like someone has to close.
Yeah, but
then if you're always the guy who closes, you're never going to win anyway.
But everyone thinks the same.
If I was Vanderpool, I don't know. Maybe everyone would have come back.
I'm sorry. Maybe
he's a beast, bro.
Maybe.
Okay,
I mean, look at Vanderpool and Amstel
Gold. It's hard to say. I don't know. It's always
he closed it for like 20K and he still won the sprint.
I don't know. It hurt me more to see Pidcock lose San Remo. I think Pidcock could have won San Remo actually.
Yeah, he tried to go. He tried to go right first.
Yeah. Yes, he was. He was faster.
No way.
He went. I saw the sprint from the overhead, and he started on the right side. He did like
ever gonna win that race.
He did 2 pedal strokes on the right side of the wheel, backed out, and then went on the left side of the wheel. He either needed to just go up the barriers. Poggio could have done the barriers, but he should have either gone up the barriers or he needed to start a tiny bit behind and take a run at him. I actually think he could have won. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think he had a chance in the sprint.
No, I think so too.
It's also a weird sprint, but I don't know. Maybe. I mean, he didn't win, so you can always say somebody had a chance. But I think it's one of those things where, like, you look at it and you're like, if you see the sprint from overhead, you think it doesn't look like he got like a clean run. He didn't do like a good sprint, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that
Luke,
is
just
it's Pogacar. Like he was never going to lose that race.
Is Roubaix still your favorite race?
I think, I don't know. It's hard to say. Yes, I do love it, but it's just such a lottery. Like, I think I love the fact that it's a lottery because if you're on a good day, it's awesome. But at the same time, it can just go to shit. Like last year, it also went to shit. Changed bikes like 3 times on the first 3 sectors with flats and chains and just like different stuff. So it's a love hate, but it is a cool race. Like, definitely as a junior, it's a favorite race I did, and now that it's super long, I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's a little too long, but it's a nice race. There's something about it that's super nice.
Luke, if you have one piece of advice,
honestly, I think for him, you should go on the
breakaway.
It is a race that it's worth going to the breakaway because the breakaway does make it that far, and you're a rider that just has a big engine and can just ride all day. So you're better off just going to the break, and you will make it. The guys from the breakaway always make it far into the race because you kind of get through all the shit. Like, you get through the shit fight and all the crashes and whatever. And like, even though for sure you're a little more tired when they do get there, not that many guys actually get to the break, you know, like for sure by the time the guy who's the 10th guy who gets to the break is just as fucked as the guys in the break. Like, maybe not the first 5 or whatever, but the guy who's 10th who gets to the break is just as fucked as the breakaway. So actually, then you're already riding for like somewhere in the top 10, just feeling the same as the guy who came from 10th because he's already closed the same amount of gaps and done the same amount of time in the wind just later in the race than the guys from the break. But
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I would agree, but I think, like, dude, now the break is getting caught even before Arnberg.
Sharper, harder efforts.
No, yeah, it'll be different. It's always like this year, no one's riding with Alpecin. So actually, this year, I think
not the same every year.
UAE after San Remo, my theory is the break will actually get a big gap in Roubaix because of the fact that they didn't ride. UAE didn't ride with Alpecin and San Remo, and Alpecin were mad about it. So now I think they're gonna want UAE to ride. They're gonna be like, you guys won San Remo, now you ride, depending on what happens in Flanders. But they're gonna want them to ride. The same thing's gonna happen in Flanders, and then they're gonna take a long time to decide who rides, and then they're gonna have a big gap.
That's a good. I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
But don't you think that, I mean, San Remo is one long build up to the Cipressa, and Flanders and Roubaix are all these, like, not mini, but they're all like battles over and over and over, where you have to keep your
I mean, I
team
think so.
together
It's
to continue
100%
to
different
fight
than
for
San
position,
Remo, but I
like
think they just have
40
a bit of, like,
times instead of
not
just
problems
once.
between each other, but they have beef just on like who's going to ride, because they feel like, okay, we come here with the two favorites, we both just start at the same time. We don't give the breakaway a big gap. We both put a guy from the very start, and we both control because we have Van der Poel and Poggi here, so we both control. But UAE is doing this thing where like, we're not going to ride because you guys have Van der Poel and he's beat Poggi the last 2 times there, whatever. So now I could see Alpecin also being like, in Flanders, we're not going to ride because Poggi's won Flanders. And then like UAE is going to get mad. They're going to get to Roubaix and do the same thing again. Like, yes, for sure, Alpecin eventually will ride, or UAE eventually will ride. But if they take an extra 10 minutes of discussion between them, is an extra 2-3 minutes for the break. And they will bring it back. They'll just bring it back later, like if they agreed before they started right away, like both are going to ride, then they can start when the gap is 2-3 minutes and both start right away, and it's easy. But if they take an extra little bit of discussion, then all of a sudden they have 5-6 minutes and you have more time, and it's not easy to close 5-6 minutes. I think you go for the break. I'd say go full gas for the break.
Yeah.
The bottom line is Cole should
Yeah,
go.
I
Easier
think
said
Roubaix
than
might
done
be
in
one of the
Roubaix.
hardest
It's a
breaks
big
to
fight. Easier said than done in Roubaix. I'm not saying it's easy to go in the break.
That's
by any means,
easier said than done.
No.
70?
How many kilometers do you think it's going to take for the break to go? 100?
Yeah, before, but that's once before. It'll be like 46.
It has
It's
taken
funny because I
100
make bets with.
before.
Yeah, 46. We always make. I say this because we make over/under bets. Like I'll bet guys like coffees, like on the team and stuff. Like in Grand Tours,
46.
we'll bet
That's
every day,
so
like how long
specific.
before the break goes, and we'll like guess a kilometer. But you have to guess an exact kilometer because whoever's closer doesn't have to buy coffee. Then on a rest day, whoever's been losing buys coffee. So we make like bets how long the break's gonna take.
All right. 59.
All right, let's make a bet here. Luke says 46. What do you say?
You can still go 60, and then anything over 60.
Ooh, I was gonna go for 60.
If you go 60, then if it takes more than 60, you win.
I'll say,
yeah.
Well, somebody's out.
60. That's a good. I'll go 60. Yeah.
I mean, everybody wants to be in the break in Roubaix, so it's always going to be.
Yeah, Roubaix that's the place
Luke,
to be in the break. Everyone knows.
Are you guys riding for Casper, or do you get a bit of a free roll?
We'll do a bit of both. I mean, we'll have to see how everyone's going by then and see how Flanders goes and everything. But I think we'll try to go with like 3 protected-ish guys and try to put guys into the final if we can. Like for us to do something, we need like 3 guys there, and then hopefully 1 guy can get away before Arenberg and something and have numbers in front of the race rather than trying to race the race of the biggest guys. Honestly, I think actually if you put guys like an Aspirin or somebody in the break now, like a guy with an engine like that who can be aero is super good. The problem is if you use a guy like that for the break and they don't want him to go in the break, then you use a lot of energy for nothing. And then it's like you can't really ride for the final then. So it's difficult to like, it's a mixture of like, do you put a guy in the break or do you not? Like some of these races we have, but then like a race like Ghent, Wevelgem, like we didn't go for anybody in the break because you always know the break's going to come back. Like a Roubaix, we'll probably try to put someone in the break, or E3, we were trying to put a guy in the break. So it's tricky to say what the best move is, but a Roubaix is a race where I think every team goes into it and is, besides probably Alpecin, Jumbo, and UAE, and they go like, if you're there, go in the break. Or like if we can slip a guy in the break, put a guy in the break, which is why it takes so long because there's 15 teams who want to go for the break, so somebody always opens it back up.
Yeah.
Do you think that big teams like Visma,
no, I don't think so, actually.
UAE
I really don't think so.
Would care if Casper went in the break?
They look at each other too much, and honestly, I think like if you're one of these guys, especially in these races, they don't really
looking
care.
At each other
like they
too
race
much, right?
Against each other a little bit, but they kind of just race their own race. Like they don't really now. They just don't give it a big gap. Like I don't think they go like, it needs to be less than 5 guys or whatever. I think if a break of 15 goes, Alpecin actually don't really care. They'll just ride a little bit sooner and ride harder, and then they know they'll come back to him anyway. And then it's a bigger group for Van der Poel to go across to and then drop them all later type of thing. So actually, I think they're not that worried about who's in the breaks. Yeah. It falls apart in general. So by the time he catches them, it'll be 5 already.
Like
and guys
Roubaix,
drop
the break itself
and
will fall apart just because
only
of
have
mechanicals
5 left of the break.
Whatnot.
But I don't know. It is one of the races where you always have at least one guy from the break who's in the top 10. I feel like the one thing you can bet on is like somebody from the break is top 10.
I see.
Bro, if I'm ahead of the race at Comfort Labra, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
I see
big
Vanderpool
dog.
catching Cole on car forward a lot.
There's
If
no
you're still in
shot.
front of the race there,
like
you've
20K
done
to
well.
go.
If you haven't seen your team car by there, you're in good shape.
Dream big, dude.
Maybe I'll see Colby in the break. That'd be pretty cool.
I'm getting excited to watch, man.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Could be fellow American in the break with you.
Yeah, there's gonna be quite a few Lux guys at the race. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, fellas. Oh yeah, Flanders first. Yeah.
Yeah. Race tomorrow, doors door. We still have doors door this week. No Vanderpool, but Wout's there, and then
but we got Flanders first
Sunday, and then next week. Do you guys do Skelder Price? Cool.
Yeah, we do, but I don't do Skelder Press anymore because I'm actually a little bit ill at the moment. So, gonna take it easy and then just head to Roubaix straight. So we'll be a bit easier on the body.
Better chance you make it to Roubaix, I guess, if you don't do Skelder Price. There's always a chance of missing Roubaix if you started in Skelder Price.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it is.
Good
Seriously.
plan.
There's like a 50% chance you go down in Skelder Price, I feel like.
That's a blessing in disguise.
Good stuff.
This has been great. Thanks, Luke. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Well, it's been fun chatting with you.
Yeah,
thanks for coming
on,
Luke.
We'll be head-to-head at Roubaix first, and then after that, we'll be headed back. After that, I'm actually headed straight back to California a few days later, but then the Growler after that. Roubaix and then the Growler.
Yeah, let's do it. The Growler might be harder.
They're basically the same. I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Luke.